My name is Pedro Luque and I'm the cinematographer of Society of the Snow. So this is a story based on a real story, right? It's based on the crash of this rugby team from Uruguay that has to fly to Santiago for a match, and they're happy because they're gonna go party in Santiago, and they end up crashing in the Andes Mountains and surviving for 72 days. It was a really tough environment to shoot. The Andes Mountains are incredibly difficult, right? Because you have altitude, you have extreme cold. Some days we will have to, we will get there and start, digging to see where was the frame or the distro box or whatever. Sometimes we had to evacuate because a storm was coming and you couldn't be there. It was really tough. So this was a difficult movie to prep because it was logistically very complex. And the director wanted to have something that, for such a complex project, was really difficult, which was have a lot of freedom, right? He wanted to be able to follow our characters. After we started shooting, they were on a strict diet and they were like going through really difficult situations. They were cold, they were hungry. That told us that we had to follow them, follow the emotion, but at the same time keep the cinematic expressionism alive. It wasn't just show me what's going on, but also give me something else. And it took us a little bit to understand how to do it. Took us like a week to understand how to shoot this movie. So I'm not very dogmatic about camera. So I wanted to have a camera that had, that was resistant to weather, and also we needed to get a certain pixel count for Netflix, but also some camera that was had good, highlight rendition, because we were going to shoot all of this in the snow. And I'm not afraid of mixing lenses, so we had a lot of stuff, but mainly was Panavision anamorphic Ts, expanded for full frame, Pana speeds, and then we had some particular lenses that I like, like the 12mm signature prime. We had a Lowa probe lens, this lens that's super cheap, but it's amazingly effective. But the thing was, I wanted to keep it expressive, and sometimes, there's not every lens does the same thing. Sometimes you need a very specific piece of equipment. I really believe in testing as much as I can. Usually when we talk about lenses, it's so intuitive because every project has a different qualities, and it's hard to grasp and describe a quality of an image because it describes itself. When you see a thing that you like, or a thing that you don't know but you don't like that well, it's difficult to describe, right? So for this last movie, for Society of the Snow, we did a very extensive test. We brought cameras to the Italian Alps. we got some actors, and we tested for 3 days, and we tested everything. And then we did a blind. We showed it to the director, and we did a blind. How do you say it? Blind test? Yeah, and then from there we chose. I kind of knew what I wanted. This was a very specific piece because it had to be cinematic, but at the same time a little bit retro, so or vintage. In a way, they have to adapt how they live to survive, and in a weird way, it means to be like the mountain. They have to be strong and they have to be cold, because some of the decisions they have to make are so morally disturbing and difficult. And what we do as cinematographers or camera people, it's to translate these words that are in a script into something that's on a screen that has its own language, right? I didn't understand the technically how technically complex this was going to be, and I'm glad that I solved it with the help of a beautiful crew. But I'm so happy that we honored this story and we allowed these people to see themselves in the screen and share with the world what happened in a honest and loving way, and I think like I didn't know that I was ready for the task, but I think I was. I'm happy that this happened in this moment.